it's not really good for anyone. You're not going to make much money doing it. The customers are going to be dissatisfied. You're going to have to shut the thing down. Today, we're going to be taking a bit of a different line of discussion for today's episode. It's time that we talked about how to lose money dropshipping on Shopify. Yes, you heard me right. We want to talk about how to actually lose money dropshipping on Shopify, because if you know how to lose money, then you can also learn how to make money on Shopify as well. We want to talk about some of the common pitfalls, why so many people get it wrong and lose money dropshipping, and how we can avoid these mistakes from the start. So, Lewis, are you ready to dive into this topic?
Yeah, let's do it, James. This is going to be an eye-opener for many, and I think understanding these pitfalls will save our listeners, hopefully, a lot of time, money, and frustration as well.
Exactly. Now, I have experienced both losing money dropshipping, not afraid to admit it, and also making money dropshipping. So I can tell you both, and I know you have a similar experiences, Lewis. We can tell you the differences, crucially, between how to lose money and how to make money. I think because if you know how to lose it, then you also know how to make money dropshipping as well. So I think let's talk about the model that is key to whether you're going to be losing or making money. And the traditional dropshipping that people first think of is often a reason why I think some people can make it more difficult for themselves than others. So Lewis, why do you think that the approach towards the traditional dropshipping often leads to people losing money?
Yeah, if you're looking for a guaranteed way to lose money dropshipping, then I'd say go straight to a platform like AliExpress and source your products from there. Make sure that you're giving your customers really long delivery times. Make sure they're getting super frustrated. You're getting a very high refund rate because the products that arrive are poor quality, and that's a surefire way to kind of run your business into the ground and lose money. So if that's what you're looking to do, hopefully this podcast episode has helped you. And we can probably leave it there, I think. But no, in all seriousness, we'll dive into kind of some more details around like how a lot of people fall into those initial traps and pitfalls that come with the traditional model. And we call it the traditional model. It's not like it's been around for hundreds of years, but it's the more prevalent model. I guess we could call it that, the one that everybody talks about. And that's because there's a really low barrier to entry. And it's just you throw a few products together from AliExpress or Temu or Oberlo or wherever without really doing any due diligence on the quality of the products, whether the suppliers are legitimate, and you kind of put them on a site, run some ads to them, and then just hope for the best. And the long delivery times are, imagine you order a pizza and it takes 3 days to be delivered. It's going to be cold. It's not going to taste great. Like, you're going to be frustrated. And so it's kind of the same. Customers nowadays with Amazon expect products to be delivered like the same day often, or the next day. And so if we're making them wait 3 weeks for delivery for products from abroad, it can be very frustrating. The other thing is when the products actually do arrive, there's such an inconsistency in the quality of the products from suppliers overseas because you're not really you're not getting any contact with the supplier. You're not really, you can order a sample product, but who's to say that the sample they send you is going to be the same as the ones that they then send your customers when you're ordering, at a much higher volume once your ads are up and running. So what that means is if the quality of the product is poor, you'll start getting negative reviews and you'll start getting customers request to return products. Now, it's incredibly difficult to return a product to China, especially if it's like a low ticket, 10, 15, 20 pound, $20 product. And so because of the low barriers to entry that everyone talks about, this amazing model of dropshipping and how it's so easy to do, it means that you get really high competition. So you get people driving the prices and the margins down because there's always someone else who's willing to sell the widget cheaper than you are and make pennies of profit on every sale. And, it's like if everybody's selling the same stuff and they're running the same kind of ads to the same type of store and giving the same poor quality products, eventually the whole market suffers the effects of that. So if you're just using that strategy, then you might see some initial results in sales. And that's why it's kind of more dangerous, because it gives people a taste of success and it shows them you can make sales with this and revenue, but then it starts to come crashing down once you realize that it's not a real business and you open up your laptop every morning and see the inbox full of complaints from customers. That's not the kind of business I would want to run. So if you haven't yet gone down that path, heed our warning in this episode.
Exactly. This is a warning and it's telling you how you can lose money. If you do that, I just remember you brought back those memories for me then, Lewis, when you talked about dreading opening the laptop for the customers' emails in the inbox, because I went down this route of dropshipping, which is the one that's kind of presented to you first when you first start to look for dropshipping online. And you think, okay, it seems simple enough, just partner with a supplier through AliExpress and start selling products. But what you don't get told is that if the products are poor quality and if there's long delivery time and there's no real returns process in place, then you're going to be the one dealing with the headaches from the customers that have had poor experiences. So I had to learn that firsthand. And what that boils down to as a business owner is, a few weeks of running ads, a few sales coming in, and then down the line, it's an email inbox full of issues to deal with, essentially, and not much profit to show for it in the end anyway. And once you've done the returns and you've worked out the ad cost that you've spent, you end up losing money. And this is certainly what I did. But it is still the traditional dropshipping model. And I think it's still the one that comes to people's minds when they first consider the business model. I mean, I met somebody who came over to the UK from LA this week, and he asked me what I do. And I said, I run e-commerce businesses and I use the dropshipping fulfillment model. And his first question, Lewis, and it's probably the same when you tell people as well, is, oh, right, so you use AliExpress and you do dropshipping like that. And I think people in the US, they're more familiar with it and they understand that's what dropshipping is to them. But I had to explain, no, it's a completely different model. But still, it just shows that that's like the traditional model that people are expecting you to do when you go into dropshipping. Why do you think that so many people, Lewis, assume that is the traditional way and go into dropshipping that way from the start?
Because it takes some real work to build a real business. And a lot of people that just want clicks and views on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, and they're just making content to try and push people into a model that has a nice low barrier to entry, but is fundamentally flawed. Of course, if that's the only thing they've done, then that's the only thing that they can talk about. So that's why the content is so prevalent. It's like this kind of get rich quick, money making, flash in the pan model that they can push and show to people that maybe aren't familiar with like the reality of that business once it's up and running and all the flaws. If you're a dropshipper focused on just selling the cheapest products that you can, and often they'll get those from China. So sites like AliExpress, if you haven't already seen it, would be a place where people would go to for that. Hence why your friend from LA probably thought that initially, because that's the popular model that everyone talks about. But you forget, by doing that, you're not even considering the long-term customer experience. So you're like building your house on sand instead of on a solid foundation, because yes, you can build the thing, but it's definitely going to come slipping down the hill once customers realize that the products are awful quality or take ages to arrive. And the thing with low ticket in e-commerce is that you're often not making your profit on sale number one. Your business is contingent on repeat sales. Your lifetime value is the thing that will make you money in low ticket. Typically, you're not, otherwise you need significant volume at a good margin to make it work. So if your model relies on repeat business and you're making the first customer experience an awful one, you can see why there's a disconnect here when people realize, oh, why aren't customers coming back or ordering more? Or why are they not? Oh, because they weren't impressed with the first experience. So it's pretty obvious when you break it down. The other thing is poor communication. So a lot of these sites you'll see, and I've fallen into this trap as well. You order something that looks great on an Instagram ad or a Facebook ad, but they're very careful to not tell you how long it's going to take to be delivered. They just don't really put it on the website. So when you do order it, and I've thought, where is that thing that I ordered? And you email them and they say, sorry, it can take 4 to 6 weeks to be delivered or something ridiculous. And you realize, it was being dropshipped from China. And then that erodes your trust in the brand and it makes you not want to use that brand again. And so it's frustrating. You're also, if you're selling those cheap products, we talked about before, the competition, you're competing with all of the other dropshippers out there who also want a no or very low barrier to entry model to just pick cheap products with no supplier relationship other than a AliExpress site that they found, and then to just load them onto the same store. So you end up with all these kind of carbon copy burner stores on Shopify, and they call them burner stores because they're like throwaway stores, aren't they? Once you've made your sales, you disappear and shut the thing down. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a bit kind of slimy as a model. It's like, you know you're not giving the customers a great experience, and therefore you know that you're probably going to have to shut the thing down. And it's just stressful. It's, it doesn't feel sustainable. it's not really good for anyone. You're not going to make much money doing it. The customers are going to be dissatisfied. You're going to have to shut the thing down.